I'm telling you, sometimes you might think things are just bad or not going good, and then there's something that comes along that just makes it worse. Last Friday, I was driving back from my job that's 30 miles away from me. And as I was driving back, I start to feel when I hit the brakes, like something's kind of off in terms of you hear like a like a sort of noise. And look, I'm not a car person. I don't the things I know about cars tend to come from when I've had the different issues I've had, right? So like I've had instances where my battery was out and thus the car wouldn't turn on at all. I've had periods where um the engine was screwed up, right? Where there was some other issue with the oil and all just a lot of different things that I only am really aware of due to like personal dealings with it just as a driver. And I knew that it wasn't the engine or anything related to that acting up because the um the car itself will tell me like, service engines light or whatever, just some other indicator that it's the engine acting up. So I drove back really and anytime the car's acting weird, it's nice to get out of it because I don't know what's going to happen. And I figure, okay, well, this must be some issue having to do with it not having an oil change over the last few months because I figured it's been over 3 months. It probably is low. So I go up to a dealer and I tell, this is like the stuff that kind of starts getting on my nerves. When you go somewhere and you say, hey, can you do this specific thing for me? Like I've gone to that same dealer before. There are other little like branches or whatever. You and each instance, I tell them, "Hey, do this." They do it. We're golden. But this one, for whatever reason, decided to run a whole diagnostic check. And after they did their buffoonery, they told me that what was going on is that the brake pads, one of the brake pads had broken, and this is why I was hearing the metal noise or whatever feeling when I was driving. Oh, and they tell me this. It's after I've been up there for about 2 or 3 hours, at least a full hour and a half, and it's like 4, 5, 6 o'clock, and this really just means that all the places around are pretty much closed or starting to close. I've been talking to somebody earlier in the day for like 2 hours, and after getting up at like 1 o'clock, and you could say it's my fault for getting up so late and not, being able to like get up to one of those places earlier and have them fix the stuff potentially. But in my defense, I really did think it was just another oil issue. Like I didn't know it was something deeper than that. So I'm faced with the dilemma where I have to go to work on, Sunday, the day after they tell me this. And on Sunday, most of these dealers and different car places, whether it's for tires or auto shops, they tend to be closed. So I'm like, all right, well, I got to figure something out. And then I go online, I look up the various dealers that are in my area, and I see where there's one of them that's open until 3 p.m. the following day. So I decide to get up earlier than I normally do, go sleep earlier than I normally do. Mm. And after going to sleep, I wake up at around 11 in the morning. I call one of the guys. They tell me that they can fix it within 2 hours. And I'm like, perfect. So I show up at the place and I see a sign that makes me kind of want to vomit a little bit. It says cash only. And that's where the guy tells me that they only take cash and that he tells me like what the amount that they would need to do the service. And I should say, this really pisses me off because nowhere over the phone did he say anything about, oh, we don't take cards. That never comes up at all. And this goes back to just what the problem is with a lot of these places where there's such a I don't want to call it lying by omission, but there is a lack of transparency that makes things harder. Like they shouldn't just assume, because I mentioned over the phone I've never been there before, so they shouldn't just assume people know, what their currency is, especially when a lot of people, like I'm not going to say most people, that a good chunk of people pay mostly with cards, so it's goofy. It's all just weird. But I bite the bullet, I drive over to an ATM, get this amount out for these people. Then I go back over there and they fix it after, I guess, an hour plus. And you want to talk about saved by the bell? I get over to my job, work that shift, leave from there. I had to go back up there yesterday. I actually left pretty early yesterday because a lot of times when I go to when I go when I get there, I'm kind of like annoyed that, oh man, I only have like this amount of time before I have to go in. So I went and sat in the McDonald's across the street and just sort of typed some stuff on the computer. And then I worked my shift, which was about 4.5 hours. Towards the end of it, they asked me if I could stay longer, which, big surprise that was. This was actually the first time out of any of the what now has been, I think, either 5 or 6 instances where they've asked me to stay longer, where I've and said no, where I did feel a little remorseful because they were short staffed and only had 2 managers there. But the biggest problem, like I said before, is I just don't want to repeat what happened. What was however many weeks ago that was, where you go, you agreed to work longer than they told you were going to work, and then you're thinking, oh man, I'm making some more money, which is how they always like proposition it to you, and then you look on that stupid app that they have and find that you've had your hours slashed in retaliation for you staying longer. Like I said, I get sick of scams. You can only play them on me so many times before I just stop biting the. I was gonna say biting the bullet, but just like I really get tired of those kind of practices. Stuff starts getting stupid. Yeah, I came back here and had to call with my friend, and we talked for a few hours, and we were just having this conversation about the same terrible trio of relatives, and what all was wrong with them and whatnot. I checked on this other relative, made sure that they were all right, and then I was feeling like more, and this is one of the reasons why I always try to explain to people that sometimes when you go and work at one of these places and they tell you you're going to be here for X number of hours, you like to actually only be there for that number of hours. Like I don't really like the idea that you go to your job and you work uh 4 hours and they tell you, hey, can you stay for 7? And then or you work 5 hours, they ask you to stay for 8, because again, like what's with this short notice crap? And like I said, the only aspect of this that remains unchanged is that they could possibly try to cut your hours again in retaliation for you getting more in that day. Oh boy, this car stuff is just, it's amazing. I was talking to my friend and we were discussing how you know, with a lot of this job stuff, just when you get to the point of wanting to quit or wanting to try something else, but you're afraid of, not having an income if you quit and start working somewhere else, and the other place might fire you, and then you'll be like just like hopefully screwed. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so reluctant to just give up being over here, even though they keep pissing me off with either lack of hours or just other little like stuff they're doing that drives me crazy. And as he and I were talking, I said, the way that a lot of that stuff is supposed to go is that if a person is, like, for example, for the first, that was in May, that was the end of May. For the, no, that was June, excuse me. Yeah, that I got out of there. So for the first 8 months of working here, I was, right, like living with a relative who called themselves helping me. That was the pitch that they had. And they were helping me in the general sense that, and this is goes back to like what is so frustrating about this stuff. When they call themselves helping you, it's not really actually doing anything for you. It's um like it's basically, it's, how to explain it, it's where a person will pay for where you for like the rent, and you happen to live there, and then they say that that them doing this is supposedly benefiting you, but it's not actually for you, in the sense that they'll tell you like, get out of here, or you can leave, and da da da. And then if you did leave, which I did, they're still paying it anyway. So it wasn't actually about you, and they use that as a justification to not bother assisting you with things that are specifically for you. Nice little scam that they have. But I was saying, with the way these jobs are supposed to go, and that's why a big chunk of the people that work them are, kids and barely legal adults, is that if you decide you don't like working there anymore after 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, 12 months, you're supposed to have the support of older relatives, whether that be parents or, guardians, etc. And through them, you can stop working somewhere for maybe a month or a few months and still have enough resources to be able to just provide you with basic accommodations. So, like I mentioned, that I pay all this stuff to the bank, and then, all these different damn bills, and if something happens to the car. But if I were actually with people who gave a damn about me, like I was 2 years ago, those would be things I would be assisted with. And that's why I was thinking about when I got fired from that restaurant 2 years ago. Um, it wasn't, not even 2 years, well, 3 years ago. It wasn't as big of a deal because I wasn't paying all these different things. So it wasn't the end of the world. It wasn't like, oh damn, I won't be able to meet this thing or whatever. And I told him about Jem and his goofy comments about, where are your parents? Why aren't you with them? I was laughing at him. I said, man, people really do have an idealized version of certain relationships. Oh boy. I went to sleep around a little bit before, like around 12, maybe a little bit after, a little bit before. Because when I really start feeling tired, especially on a day like this, just like in the early morning hours or whatever, it does kind of get to me. Like I just start feeling it, like, oh damn, I gotta lay down. And I did mention I sleep in shifts, so in all likelihood, if even if I were to go for like it could be hour and a half, 3 hours, I'll probably at most be up for maybe uh, 20 minutes after this, and then just go back to sleep. Because I had to will myself out of laying down. It felt pretty good too. But I said I was going to stream on Tuesday, and I like to keep my word, regardless of how tired I feel. I don't know, man. It's sad. Like I'm dead serious about the stuff with these relatives. Really makes me feel bad. The stuff with the job makes me feel bad because it's all part of like a continuous pattern of just being disenfranchised with the state of things. Yeah, I'm just tired of a lot of this stuff. It's so funny when I had the tire rip up on me in the earlier part of this month. I was speaking to the same relative that was fine with me being homeless last year, in spite of how much they claimed to love me so. And they were trying to get me to pay out $200, $300 for tires, new tires. I said to them, like, I can't afford this. And they were like, do you think I can afford to, and they always make it about themselves. But it's funny because one of the reasons I'm always so reluctant, if I can help it, to not just piss out hundreds of dollars on something, is because I always have that like, this is just the nature of stuff. When you don't have any support for anything, like, at all, period, you are and you're like the last line. There is no help. There is, you're just screwed, right? In terms of anyone there to assist you, just alone. Um, you are going to be very apprehensive about what you pay for, what you buy, because you know that if you run out of money, you're dead. You're finished. Um, and sure enough, I had that gut feeling that there would be some bigger thing on the horizon, to where I couldn't just willy nilly spend 200 on something if I could help it. And there we are. Here we are. The damn brake pads started acting up. Not even a month later. This month was bookended by car issues. It started with a crappy tire, and it ended with, and multiple crappy tires at that. The one was bad. I changed out the other one. They didn't even bother looking at, and then when I was driving, it gave out on me. And then these brake pads. So things just keep getting worse and worse. Yeah, some of this stuff is just sad to me. In all seriousness. And I really do mean that. Like, it makes me sad that things are the way they are. It's always funny looking at these big pencils from Walmart that I got, I think, 2 or 3 months ago, and still have barely used. And I guess there's like a part of me that, wants to have the ability to just write stuff out by hand, and then I'd still rely on Google Docs and all these other little, things you type on a computer. Oh man, these jobs, they are a piece of work. I didn't even get to mention that back when I was dealing with the, I guess, guy who had, sat up there and praised chicks as being so great and amazing. Um, we were having this conversation about how a lot of what's a good way of putting it? He so I don't know why men do this, but they try to make it sound as if you need to be wealthy to get a date, which is complete and total buffoonery on their part because you can go to pretty much any lower income neighborhood across all of America at the very least and see couples or see men who have children. Uh, they make it sound like there's these like Elon Musk just drives into Chicago and has a date with some girl. It's goofy. But one of the things that he said that like made me kind of laugh was when he was making the comments of like, oh, we're our desirability and we're making 30K a year. And I was like, dude, do you not know what a part-time employee is? Whatever wages that we're supposed to get yearly are cut in half. So yeah, I've been at my job now for almost a whole year. It's another week or two before we get to that the actual like day of me having my first date. But it's like early November. And the overall income total, which is tracked by their little stupid app, was like 14,000, 15,000. You get the idea that it's half of that because they don't use you 5 times a week, 40 hours a week. You get these shifts that fluctuate. It could be 4, 3, 2, and you get hours that are all over the place. And but the one consistent thing about them for the last few months has been their half shifts. They're 4 hours, 5 hours, garbage. I just thought it was funny. We make 30K a year. It's like, dude, no, we don't. And even if we did, who gives a damn? So yeah, all the guys I spoke to, I've never seen one who's like, "Well, I think this woman is hot, but what is her net worth?" Oh man, Mm. Yeah, all of it is just so insane to me. I was describing to one of the managers, McDonald's being greedy and how they charge you like for a drink now. Like if you go in there, they turn the machine off, and it's funny how a lot of people who work at these places they really don't know. I don't know. They make me feel like I have some kind of just life experience I don't try to. I don't believe I do, but just like it's funny to watch them just marvel at in shock at some of this stuff. But it is something that I hadn't noticed because over the past year or so, I've only really gone to McDonald's for dairy products. Like I guess they're different desserts, ice cream, whipped cream, not whipped cream, ice cream, milkshakes, those types of things. So I never caught on to them being that way until, now on a regular going into that place and sitting in there and it was like, okay, I'm just gonna get a drink. And then I wasn't able to. Only water. So since then, I have not bought anything because what's the point? The stuff is too expensive, and I mean, once you get to the point where you stop letting people get a damn free soda, that's already just another demonstration of greed, and I just don't have the patience for it. Oh man, it's sad that all these places and people are so adversarial. It really is. Like in the desire for them to try and make some more money off of their not employees, off of people who probably would get their stuff. They try to charge you for something that used to be free, and it's just like forget it. It feels like everywhere I go, there's all these like micro, um, what's the way of putting it? All these like attempts at just squeezing money out of someone in the littlest way possible. You go places and they're charging you to park there, right? You go places, and if you go to a market like the market, you buy, and it could be $50 of groceries, $100 of groceries. Hey, you want a bag? It's just 10 cents. It's like it shouldn't be any sense. The fact that you charge me means it makes no sense. I'm actually amazed by how long it's been since I bought a bag from the market. Like I got to a point of just getting those so often that I stopped buying them altogether. Or I use some reusable bag. Yeah, one of the girls at my job said I could send her a message if I wanted to. Uh, I'm always like cautious, so I did send one, and I just was like, "Hey, how are you?" Yeah. Stomach aches are a real lovely thing. It's real funny too because I'll often like go to the market and be like, okay, I'm gonna get this, and I'll be able to eat it for the tonight, and then a little bit tomorrow afternoon, and then I'll just wake up the next day, and my stomach will just be like on fire, and I won't even bother with it until either that night or something else. Like there's been so many days where the only thing I'll eat besides soup, like on a work day especially, is probably just some chips. It's crazy to think about how when I was still staying with that one relative, I would go in there and order two of my thing and eat one of those before the shift started, and then have one after I left, and they had to ruin it. They always find a way to destroy everything. It's real sad to think about it too. It's like you had this perfect arrangement where you give the job back some of your money, in exchange for being fed. Of course, the more perfect arrangement was when you could get free food for working there. That was as good as it got. And I was telling my friend, I said, if I were someone who had the support of those that claim they, love me so, right? That word that is so overused. And I didn't have to drive 60 miles to and back there, right? $8 just to go to work. Maybe I'd be more open to play with to play this game of this attempted $6 increase. But I just when the truth of the matter is, any place I've gone to in the past, once it starts getting too expensive, I just don't bother with it. But it was real funny that they misread me. They thought I couldn't live without ordering two of whatever from there, and it's been months since I last ordered from there. Not playing this stupid game. It's the same thing with them asking me to stay longer. I was so desperate for money that I would just agree to it, even on the days where I felt like the most tired, where I f- but and I just kept thinking to myself, man, you work all these hours and you just can't feel a benefit. And the reason for that is very simple. Employers are always going to look out for themselves. And no matter how much you might be that good little dutiful employee that stays longer and helps them out if they need it so badly, they will always find a way to knife you or to discard of you. That is why the same week where they're only giving me uh, two shifts, right? Suddenly they want to ask me if I can stay longer. And even as they ask me that, I still don't believe them when they say, "Oh yeah, we won't cut you when you leave from here for another day." They've done that multiple times, and I'm just tired of it. I mentioned the one Saturday where I picked up a shift. I don't even like working on Saturday. I wanted one day throughout the week where I could just always know I'd be off. I picked it up thinking I'm going to make a little bit more money. I get back from the Saturday shift, they delete me from the Sunday shift. Like it's stupid. It's dumb. And like I said, I took that one on the chin. I said, okay, well, I guess now I know that there's no point in me. And that's why in recent months I haven't applied for any shifts that people put post or want to like try to give up or whatever, because I always assume that they're going to just not give it to me. That's what they started doing. Like I said, I'm not doing this thing of jumping through hoops for them anymore. That's dead. If they still can't appreciate you after a year, they never will. I was even telling my friend the only one that can make a living off of any of this stupid stuff are managers anyway. They know every week they've got 40 hours. I look on that schedule, I see the same couple managers, 8 hours today, 8 hours tomorrow, 8 hours the day after that, maybe eight a day later, eight a day later. But no, not you. Never. I already said before, I knew that in all likelihood, if I were to ever have a job that would keep me, for like a relatively sustained period of time, right, months, a year, it would be part time. Because, like I said, none of these places are trying to hire anybody and actually use them to where they can take care of themselves. Which is why I said I often cringe when I see, jobs trying to, like when I went for that interview uh, with that other restaurant, and I talked to the guy who was, I guess, the hiring person or the one that would just interview possible new employees, different like people they put up to do this stuff. I just sat there and almost cringed when he made the comments of, we don't want to conflict with your other job. I'm like, because and I said, I could just change my scheduling over there. But I said to him, uh, just internally, who are you trying to fool? Like If I work one place and I tell them, you have me available for 6 days out of the week, and at a minimum, they're only giving me 2 shifts a week, it's like, yeah, you're probably not actually going to use me all that much. Like, I could tell them hypothetically I'm available every day, which depending on when they give me hours, I would be. Uh, but there's no point. They're gonna just, keep doing this stupid stuff. I think a lot of these places really do get off on the idea of I can have you whenever I want, but I'm barely going to. Just like the power dynamic. Hey, you need me for to be able to put food on your table. Well, it's gonna be some real small scrapes. Oh man, it's sad. Yeah, but yeah, I guess I'll try to make the most of my 3 days off, apply for some other stuff, hopefully, and work on the two dueling documentaries. Oh man, people will never understand how infuriating it is to write a script that is 20 pages long and know that in spite of how long it is, you will almost certainly still not have it done anytime soon. It's enough to drive a man crazy. Oh man. But when I was editing it, not editing, when I was writing it yesterday, writing some of the script yesterday, I really did start to see a light at the end of the tunnel. Um, because sometimes when I'm just writing this stuff, I'll start at some random point and just go from there. And here I kind of focused more on the middle, and I really want to end up putting up some 2 hour video. I really don't. Um, Mainly because of like the space issue where it's just a lot for my computer to have to deal with. I remember the frustration of trying to put up part two, that whole like saga. Oh man. But I'm just looking at this video's I'm just looking at the script rather, and this is already over an hour. And I still don't even have half of it done. It's definitely a third. It's definitely approaching 2/5, but that's what makes it so aggravating. Like there's just so much stuff to write, and after you finish writing it, you have to sit there and debate. How much of it are you going to be able to put down or whatever. I don't know. It's just been a really lackluster period. Like when I write stuff, I get kind of annoyed at just not being able to do as much of it as I want. Um, I mean, I really don't want to live in a perpetual state of dissatisfaction, right? But when things are not good, I'm not going to pretend that they are. Oh man, it felt so weird recording a video in the day. Have to remind myself I'm the nocturnal poster. Just like I'm not kidding. So many mornings it'll be 2, 3, 4 a.m. here, and I have to go to work in the afternoon. And I'm just like, all right, let me just fire something up real quick. Man. Mm. It's so surreal to go from just posting stuff to being expected to edit it. Like I remember the one guy was like, "Your audio is low," and they said the reason for that is because with a lot of these devices, and it doesn't really happen during streams. I've never seen the audio just be awful for that. But with a lot of these devices, they have this thing where they'll be very low if you're like not in some enclosed environment. Like if I record a video from my car, it should be good in terms of the audio. Let's see here. Okay. But if it's something relating to doing it here, it's less likely to be that way. Oh man, God, what is going on here? And I told this what happened on Sunday to this one manager, and he was like, you would have more money if you had stayed that day with me. And I was like, no, 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 I would not. Like I mentioned before, I'm just sort of agnostic with a lot of this stuff because when you constantly have to piss out money for just everything, right? Internet, now the phone bill, uh, gas. Yeah, I don't get too excited about an extra $40 or $60 that they still might find a way to screw me out of via deleting me from the schedule again. That's why I said this computerized era, people have really tried to use it to their advantage because all my past jobs, they give you a schedule on a piece of paper. That was it. They didn't have no damn app where you go in there and tell somebody, "Oh, you thought you're coming to work tomorrow?" No, yeah. It's fine. They're gonna delete me from the schedule and not expect me to retaliate. I, I guess I'll work 3 more hours today and hope that I don't get deleted from five tomorrow. That's how you know they think all their employees are just total idiots. Like it's really sad the lack of intellect they think we have. Oh boy. Yeah, that was one of the instances where I don't know what that was. It's like you're as you're kind of breathing, you just feel something, and it's like snot. Oh, yeah, I was just it's been a year of realizations like over the last. Well, I guess that's been the theme over the last like 2 years, just realizations of how in all likelihood I'll never have the types of relationships I would want with people. Um, I was telling my friend about how I have this one relative where I have the only thing I want from them, the only thing is for them to contact me. That is it. I don't ask them for money or any other because I don't expect that from them. All I want from them is for them to just ask me how I'm doing. Are you okay? You'll never see it. They will never send me a message unless prompted by someone else, which is what makes all of it so fake. That the only way to get them to show concern for this person that they claim to love, to reach out to him, is for someone else to tell them to do that. I just find that really sad. That's why I said I'm just at a point where it feels like everything is fake. Oh, let me put this popcorn back in here. Ugh. I'm just thinking about how like you go over there and buy their little bit of crap for what is it, 12, $13, and then you go to the market and you can get a whole damn case of popcorn for like not even half that price. It's nuts. And it's sad to know that no matter how much they raise the prices, no matter how much money they try to like nickel and dime people out of, right? Oh, you want to get a refill on this drink? Okay, that'll be an extra 10 cents, or I shouldn't even say 10 cents. That makes them sound like they actually are being reasonable. Oh no, extra dollar, extra $2, $3. It's sad to know that no matter how much they do that stuff, it's never going to be enough for them. They are always going to look for more ways to try and squeeze some more pennies out of their other people. But yeah, it's sad to watch people do a lot of the stuff that they do. I'm really not kidding. There are so many times where I just go somewhere and I mean, right now is a good example of it. Just with these different managers, the whole like, "Hey, how are you?" And then you say bad, and they don't even like try to ask you why. Because I started saying like awful or bad or angry or whatever, just as like a subversion. 'Cause they expect somebody to say that they're good. I'm not good. I haven't been good in 2 years, possibly 7 years. It's it's just such a shame that everything is this way. I can't tell how many people have called me their friend, and I just start cringing. They do it at my job so much. Like the guy we hung out together. Yeah, how many months ago? And literally only after I drove you from the job. Like there's no other reason than that. Not just hey, let's do this outside. I'm not friends with none of these people. We're not pals. We're nothing to each other. I'm more open about it. Oh man. I really do wonder what goes through their mind when they think, oh yeah, this person that I only ever see in this controlled environment. Because like when I was in school, even like early preschool, first grade, second grade, third grade, I had a guy I went over his place. I had different classmates I had the phone number of rather. But it's funny because it's like none of them will ever reach out to you in that way, or very few of them will, I should say. And then they still have like the nerve to say, "Oh yeah, we're friends." Like, no, 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 no. Just like the one that left from there. He is a really interesting case study where it's like, man, once you stop working here, I just became nothing to you, huh? Like I could probably get him to respond to me if I try hard enough because I say, hey, where are you? But do I really feel like this is actually going to progress into something? Not really. Of course, my favorite thing is a relative that was talking about, oh, you can come to my place and wash your stuff. And I know you're grown, but I don't want you walking around smelling. And I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, man, it's sad to know that you have this person who cannot bring themselves to assist you in any way that you need, whether that's with food, um, you know, gas money, just anything, right, that you actually need to survive. But they have the goal to sit here and try to like grandstand to you about the moral importance of having clothes that smell a certain way as you're working somewhere where I mean you're going to have a certain odor from being around this food all day long, so it's not that big of a deal. But it's sad, man. It's really sad. That is your caliber of relative. Just so embarrassing. Ah, oh man. Mm. Man, these computers drive me nuts. Yeah, it's been a really crazy 72 hours filled with car issues and people issues and just an assortment of things. I do just keep imagining what it would be like to have, 40 hours a week again. My friend sent me some stuff to apply for. I tried to tell him the truth is a lot of days I'm just tired, and especially on these work days where you got to get over here and get on the freeway and drive out there, all rest of that stuff. It can just be a real hustle and hassle. So I only have one major side quest for the next couple of days, and I'll get that situated. If not today, then tomorrow, or again, like it's over the next few days. Then from there, I'll probably just get the what's the term? Um, go into doing this other stuff. So looking into these different jobs that he was sending. And again, the other matter is that like it's sometimes I have to will myself into even wanting to do this stuff. That's another just painful truth about these things because so many places get off on having you fill out these stupid applications and then never hearing anything back, or they send you a dear John letter. Thank you, enter name here, for your interest in our company, but we have decided not to move forward with your application at this time. I got so sick of reading those. The second you see thank you, and just shut it, just close it. Oh man. I forget it. It's crazy how like we have so many rejection emails and letters. They're just like, okay, well, I don't even need to read the whole thing anymore. I can just see the top line and we know how this will go. Yeah, and then we have another chapter in the Rat Saga where and having these traps. I really don't feel like putting them down at night because that front area doesn't have a light in there. So I'm gonna wait until tomorrow afternoon to start setting this stuff up, and then seeing what we get. No, that has been my moral philosophy, my economic philosophy rather. If there's something you don't have to do, then don't do it. Like if it's financial stuff and it's something that you could put off or otherwise just not do altogether, right? That's what I would go with because I like it. I'm not kidding when I say every time it looks like, oh man, now I can relax. I can go get this, go get that. Da, da, da. There's always something around the corner. Like I would love to get an air conditioner fixed in my car. It's been broken for over a year now. But like I said, every time I try to go to do that, I see a tire is out or some other, thing relating to it that I just would have less money to be able to pay for if I got involved with trying to fix these non-essential parts of it. I'd love to get the dent out the back. I'd love to fix the um one of the windows, not windows, one of the side mirrors is like messed up. It's like I'd love to fix all of this stuff, but I just don't have the resources. It is funny to think the same weekend where you're like worried about your car and if you'll even be able to go to work because of just how screwed up the brake pads are. You got this relative talking about, come to my place and I'll wash your clothes for you. And, even though I don't help you with anything you actually need to survive, just literal Twilight Zone. Just complete and utter insanity. Like some of these people just like I remember they were repeating this whole like, "Oh, I'm the worst blank ever." And as they're repeating that stuff, they never and I was telling my friend about how, when he and I discuss the critiques that are laid at my footstep by these buffoons and jerks and, deviants, I always like go through them piece by piece and break them down and like talk about how they're full of crap or, just whatever. But with that person, they get like a slogan, right? Like, "I'm this bad. I'm so bad," but they don't actually like articulate why is this person incorrect to view you as inadequate or, insufficient. Like they're never because they are crappy. They can't refute the truths of any of the stuff that is said about them because there is no refuting it. It is they all they can do is acknowledge that it exists and then try to dance around it. That's the full extent of their ability. And as I go to my job, sometimes I see people show up with their relatives, and I just it starts to just wear on you after a while because I really do sometimes wonder why I got stuck with the crappy ones. They can't do anything but run their mouths. Oh, let's see. What else can I go and piss out a whole bunch of money on? Uh, Damn, these papers, they write your name 15 times on here. They said the right and left wiper are broken. I don't believe that. See, what's funny about them is that they said the brake pad was, broken or, like, whatever, but, like, they didn't tell me which one, so they wanted me to just, I guess, pay over $500 for them to mess with stuff that's not even that screwed up or where most of it is not it's goofy. Like I said, the greed does not stop, it just keeps rolling and rolling. Always looking for a way to cheat somebody out of some money, it is some sad stuff. Um, hmm, coolant level. Them fixing anything for $8 is hilarious to me. Brake fluid test results. Engine air filter. It's nice to imagine the alternate universe where you actually get assistance with basic living expenses and you can go and get your car fixed up without having to worry about, oh my God, how am I going to be able to pay for, X, Y, and Z every month? It's a nice fantasy. Oh boy. Also, one of YouTube's favorite live streaming tricks is back where the so like when I do a stream, I should always be able to see on the right hand side the comments. If anybody writes anything, and I can't. Instead, I see an animal and it says something went wrong. So I've seen this before, but it hasn't been like in the last few times. Just just saying that if anyone writes anything, I won't be able to see it. I have to keep like going on my phone and looking at the tab. Yeah, it's all just really ridiculous. I asked my friend what the likelihood was that these relatives would change, and he said not very likely, or not at all likely. And I guess what is so disturbing to me about a lot of this stuff is that if they work together, things would be so much easier for everyone involved. But there is this divisiveness that, barring an intervening force, you're never going to see them strive differently for. So, like you're never going to see a single one of them admit they've done something wrong or anything wrong. And of course, even if they were to do that many, many years later, it would be after the fact, like when there's literally nothing they can do to right their wrong. It's like how you'll see a lot of parents who will say, "Oh man, I shouldn't have had kids when I was 18 or 17 or whatever the hell." But they were never like this proactive in their thinking, which causes them to have these kids they can't afford in the first place. It's all just sad to me. And that was the point of the what could have been video. It was just me, engaging in conjecture. What would things look like if people were better than they are? And when we say better, we're not talking about having more money. We're not talking about any old materialistic thing. If there was a certain level of morality that they just don't have. If there wasn't such a was it apathy, right? Just like an ability to sympathize with others. Because we already discussed before, I expect any job I work to mostly care about their profit. You could die in their place and they would just throw you to the wayside. But like when you're talking about family, right? Your relatives, the ones who say they love you, all these terms, right? You got to ask yourself, is it okay to treat someone this way? Like a job can be hostile, it can be unmerciful, it can be cruel, it can be ridiculous, all these things. But if you have people that, you know, are there for you, a lot of it can get mitigated. Like I thought when I was working at that retailer that I was treated wholly unfairly in the sense that you get blamed for things that are out of your control, right? They're not stocked on some product. Many of the people that come in that place are angry and they take their, frustration out on you as the cashier. Why don't you have this? Why don't da 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 da? And when that place, was like, all right, well, we're done with you. I was really disgusted by this. I was pissed off, but it wasn't the end of the world because at the time I still had someone that if I needed any basic utility like food, um, I wouldn't be hung out to dry. I wouldn't be left to die. There was a person there that made sure that I didn't lack for the things that I needed to, again, survive, to just live. It's just sad, man. People are so damn pathetic. Oh, the way they treat another person is just disgusting. Yeah, I'm trying to use Jack Palenti's book for part four of the part four, part seven of the documentary. I'm just I hope things get better. I don't think they will though. Some things there's stuff I can be optimistic about if I'm given an incentive, but most of it is pretty lousy. Oh no, I guess in a way this is all going back to what I said a few weeks ago. Just people can be a lot better than they are in terms of, and in like small ways, right? Like with the job, it would cost them nothing to let their employees get free food. They're not losing much if they allow people to get two of something for 11 instead of 17. And these relatives, if they all put their money together, you know, $10, or excuse me, $30 a week for food turns into 15 for both of them. If they, cut it in half, or for gas, right? 15. So they could help. They could do this stuff if they wanted to. It's just people don't. There is a I don't know what to call it. There's, again, apathy is like the main thing that gets in the way of this, and also just they just there's also the selfishness of it too. Like, hey, person I could help, but would rather not. And the views on this site are so weird. They say four people are watching, and it turns into one. Well, whatever. You can't take any of the numbers on here seriously. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm just looking at this trap, just getting ready to apply this thing over the course of today or tomorrow. It's so crazy to think about how, like, the sun will be up, 12 hours a day, right? So like 7 in the morning to probably like 7 at night. And I will only be home when it's up for maybe, and like, not sleeping, maybe like an hour. I just think that's so interesting how, again, this stuff is like just the elements are not on your side. Mm. All these late shifts. They're giving me another one. Was that week after this week? Oh, I see they need somebody for Saturday of the week after this one. Not that I would apply for it because I know that it's just a bunch of nonsense. It's always that same damn guy every time for these closing shifts. It drives me nuts. I don't feel like dealing with him on a Saturday, especially. Well, at least I have one of my relatives' birthdays off, so that's a nice benefit. Because it was a death anniversary recently, and I was just like, I don't know. I'm sort of mixed on working during one of those days because I'm thinking about the person, and I don't think it stopped me from doing the work, but I'm just like, man, it's one of those things I just have mixed feelings about. And I don't like not being able to give a definitive answer with things, but that's just me telling the truth that like I really don't know if I'm better off working a day like that or not. Oh man. And it's always in that latter part of the year that you just start having more and more thoughts of this person, that person. With a nice stream to end the month, am I right? And, I don't like every stream being this depressive confessional, but it's just like I said, a lot of bad stuff is going on right now. Yeah, I think I'll probably I don't know if I'd immediately go to sleep. I might just do a little bit of stuff online, maybe draw because I didn't really get to draw when I came back. I was on the phone with my friend, and besides that, I wasn't really doing anything on the computer or just like with my hands, like just holding the phone. I normally would chastise myself for not doing, some quota of stuff per day. Like, I didn't get to write anything. But he and I don't get to speak as often as I would prefer. So when we do, I'm not as bothered by, oh, I didn't write this thing, I didn't draw this thing. It's not as big of a deal as it normally would be. Yeah, it's I kind of feel like that's the running theme here that anyone you actually care about that's still around, you just don't get to be around them as much as you would like. Even though I still have three of those now. Um, who else is there to call? I had one person who I was trying so hard to call over the last like few days because I was under the impression I was going to go to their place today, and then they're going somewhere else, so I can't visit them at least at the time I normally would. So I'll just try to call them later today and then go see them tomorrow. But it's lame because I was looking forward to going to them today. So I say everything is just so. Oh damn. Yeah, Megumi, we're dealing with more crappy YouTube stuff where, in spite of the fact that the site has been upgraded so many times, there's been all these additions and subtractions and all the rest of that stuff. For whatever reason, when I try to start a stream, sometimes it will just not show the damn chat. So I have to have. Let me just start another window. I did that last time this happened. Oh man, these computers. Oh, somebody else is streaming right now. I don't want to say anything because then they'll accuse me of stream sniping. Why are you on my stream? Oh, you are streaming. I'm not doing that. See here. I'm not kidding. It really is like you gotta love YouTube sometimes and technical difficulties. That's a very strange problem to have. It'll literally be on the side of the screen. The chat will like just not appear and it'll say something went wrong, and then it'll have the search option for YouTube like in place of where the chat would be. So like right now to see your comment, I have to open another tab of the it's just like that one instance where I think it was the trial stream where I was like standing up and like the screen was black, like I just couldn't see myself, and then you could see me perfectly fine, and like I was watching it on my phone, and I could see it's these computers and these all these devices. Oh man. No, I brought this up before you showed up. You'll get a real kick out of it. Let me load this thing up. Show this amazing comment from this brilliant, wonderful, caring, very concerned, excellent, terrific relative. And for some reason, I don't know why they do this. They're the only person I know that does this, where they will send you a text message and then they'll send it a second time. I don't know what that, and I know it's not like on my end, like, oh, I'm just looking at something twice, because they're the only person that keeps happening with, where they send this to me Friday at almost at 7 p.m. Then they send it again 3 hours later or 2.5 hours later. Just weird, man. But anyways, in their message that they felt they had to send twice because it's doubly nice, they said, Justin, you need to come shower and let me wash your clothes. Your clothes probably smell like mold washing in a bucket. Please listen to me. I know you're grown, but I don't want you walking around smelling. Man, I'm gonna just give you a prompt. I'm gonna just like kind of walk you through my perspective. Imagine having a person who, when you didn't have a job, when you were unemployed, they had no problem charging you anywhere from 100 a month to hundreds a month. At one point, they even tried to charge you half a thousand a month until you put your foot down and just said, "To hell with it, I'm not staying here if that's going to be the case." And when you start paying all this stuff to the bank every month, they still are sticking their hand out to try and get something from you. When you need help with basic things like food, like money to even be able to go to your job and get a little bit of change, they can't assist you. They won't assist you, even as you're using your same vehicle to assist them with picking somebody. Like, just imagine all of that, and then this person wants you to believe that they care. Like you say to me, that sounds indirectly rude. Even if you're, and it is rude, but even if you're critiquing it for being that, you should also understand where it's like, skewed priorities. Like, you won't help this person with any of the things they actually need to survive, but you expect them to take you seriously when you want to sit here and grandstand about the hypothetical smell of clothing. Like, what are we doing here? Because I didn't respond to that, but I almost responded by asking, so how much do you want for me to wash my stuff over there? Literally, I know this has been like a long saga, but I only started to wash stuff in a bucket because when they would put my stuff in the machine, they would fill it with, because people they drive me crazy. They would fill the machine with so much crap, like just a whole bunch. And I don't have that many clothes, so it's like dumb. But they filled the machine with all this stuff to where it would rip the buttons off my shirts because there's just so much stuff in the machine. because they don't want to pay for water or whatever the hell. So that was what caused me to just, okay, well, I guess I'll just hand wash stuff. It's really ridiculous. It does remind me of that relative who told you to get your car washed, which also skew. Oh, it's the same one. Do you know what? I couldn't afford to spend the however much money to get the car wash because this month or this week or what? Actually, yeah, this month because at the start of this month I had a tire break on me as I was driving to work. Right there, I got one change, and the guy I didn't go to my normal guy because I guess he was closed or whatever, and the other people they didn't bother to look at to check the other side, see if anything was screwed up about it. So it went out on me when I was driving on the freeway and I got towed back to my place, had to spend about $40, $50 to get a new tire the next day. Then, again, it's the start of the month, right? Month of October. Then at the end of the month, as I'm driving back from work on Friday, I start feeling like something kind of like weird about the brakes. I go to this dealer to see what the issue is. They tell me that the brake pad is messed up. Of course, they don't tell me which one, so it's like, what the hell? But I went to a dealer Sunday morning because such short notice because I didn't know what the problem was until Saturday afternoon, and they fixed it for 350. Which again, it's like when you have to sit here and actually contend with all these different car issues, you see where I'm in no rush to sit and get to like sit and spin about cosmetic crap that doesn't actually benefit my ability to use the vehicle. Also, we're gonna have a lot of fun today. A whole lot of fun. Oh, crap. Damn, I didn't even know this thing had gone this far. See if that works or not. Yeah, I cannot get that thing fixed. It's just gonna happen. I was gonna have to contend with that for the next hour and a half, most likely. But no, it's the same one. Them and their lovely skewed priorities. Figures that is actually the same relative. They care more about maintaining cosmetics rather than food and other utilities you need to survive. Well, that's what makes them so full of crap. Like what did I say? You want to have your cake and eat it too. You want to not be involved with the actual things a person needs to survive, but then you also want to like lecture them on the importance of cleanliness and all the rest of this crap. Like I don't quite understand. Just seems a little weird to me. Like I don't get how those two things are congruent with each other. You don't help someone with things they need to live, but You'll wash clothes for free, even though the whole reason that I even started using a bucket was because you wouldn't wash the stuff without ripping it to shreds. And of course, anytime they rip up your clothes, they're not going to help. They're not going to pay to help you, get it fixed, or So it's like, again, more just, it's just so weird, man. Oh my god. Yeah, obvious, huh? Typical. I'm saying I don't even know what's going on anymore. I feel like I'm in a oh, it is the Twilight Zone, it's the Matrix, it's something. Hand washing does take more time, of course, but I do it to ensure my clothes remain intact while washed. So I hope you understand they're not actually washing anything themselves. They're just sticking it in a machine, right? In that device. And that machine would not rip the stuff up if they would just stop putting so many things in there at once. Yeah, it's carelessness and you have to pay for it. Like they destroy your damn shirts and you had to spend 4, 8, 12, however much money it is to try to get it fixed or repaired or unripped up or I'm like I got sick of that, man. I really did. But it was the same thing with the phone. Like when the one idiot didn't pay the phone bill, uh guess who ended up getting stranded on the freeway after their tire exploded? Yeah, there's a clear running theme where you pay for their negligence. They drive me insane. Like I don't. This doesn't make any sense to me. Oh, I love my devices that don't want to work. Where is that thing? Man, that's the worst part about this stuff. No, let it have been me that was paying for the phone. I wouldn't have the thing default and get turned off, and then, oh well, I guess I just won't have a phone for a few days or a few weeks or a few months. Just absolute lunacy. And the problem is every time I think about, like, it's like my job still doesn't have my current phone number, because everything is on this stupid app and all these little different computerized, just crap, right? So I don't really care to give it to them because I know they're not going to use it to contact me about more work. They're just going to, let it sit there like a book on a shelf, where they like having the option to use you, but they never do. Where is that thing? Oh man. Yeah, you go around looking for stuff and you just can't find it. I cannot find this thing at all. Oh, all these sites they have, it's incredible. So many times technology just keeps updating and getting more and advanced, and it never gets any less complicated. But yeah, I'm off for the next 3 days, so I'm gonna have, I guess, a fun time dealing with all these other side quests and submissions and the rest of that stuff. It might as well be a damn RPG. I mean, a lot of these things are just not necessary. Like, your main thing is to go and work your job, whatever, the purpose of having a tiny bit of money, and then someone else will say, "Can you go and pick this person up from here? Can you go and get this? Hey, can you go over? Can you go to this person's house to pick up my mail?" I remember when I was in 12th grade and I would get picked up. I remember when I was in 12th grade, they had it to where I think it was every which day was that? It wasn't Friday. It was another day like in the week. I think it was either Wednesday or Thursday, but there was a day every week where the school I went to for 11th grade would have it to where you could, instead of 3 o'clock, we would get off at 12, and I would always be so excited to get off so early because, like, oh, I can go home and do whatever, whatever. And literally, I get picked up by my grandpa. We have a whole thing where he would go this store or that, never like directly go back to the house. It was just that's why I call it a side quest. Or before you return to your place, you always have to go on some side quest. So all this stuff is you go over there playing Legacy of Goku, and then you watch the show right after Raditz kidnaps Goku and Piccolo immediately go to where they are. But then when you play the game, you need to go through dungeons and rescue little girls. And I just, man, yeah, my job asked me to stay longer again, and I told them no. And this is the first time since I started doing that where I actually felt a little bit bad because they were down bad in terms of like they only had two managers and one was like operating this thing outside and the other you could tell they were like actually kind of stretched out to where normally they have two people take out the trash together. They had me doing it like solo for the second time. um like that's one of the few instances where I was like, oh, do I really want to leave them like this? But I just keep thinking about, you know you think you're doing a good deed by staying longer and helping them, and you see how you get rewarded. Because the bimbo, she won't even speak to me anymore. She walks right past me, won't say one word. And, she wasn't one of the two that was there, so I didn't, that wasn't like a factor. It was just thinking of how you stay there longer, right? And then did you do the no, 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 no? No, I because there it's I like the two of them. It was the manager that hired me and the other one who he's the one who told me that Mixed Signals Queen was, vanquished. So they're probably like that was probably the closest assortment of managers that I probably would stay longer for. It just was thinking about that stuff with her, man. Like the idea of going home after working, some 6, 7, 8 hour shift and then getting punished for that, look on the phone. Oh, you only have 1 day this week, or oh, your schedule has been. You always get the little message at 2 or 3 in the morning. Your schedule has been modified, and you have been deleted from working on Friday. I just don't have the patience for that stuff. It's stupid. Besides, no, no, no only works if you have the dark glasses on and your phone out. I didn't have on my visor. Where'd I even put that thing? Oh, get the glasses. Ugh. Fluctuating hours and shifts. I did kind of feel a little bit bad for them because they did seem like they were down low, but they don't want to deal with consistency. Oh no! I mean, I told you that if they wanted to, could hire me to do the thing I do up there from 5 to 12. Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday and Sunday, and then there would be no debates about, oh, hey, person we told that was only going to work for 4 hours today, do you want to work for 6 or 7 and possibly be rewarded by having your hours deleted or cut because we don't want to pay you more money? That is how it should go. Can you stay longer? No, 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 no. I forget there's like 2 or 3 different versions of that. Hey, can you stay longer? No, 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 no. Oh man. No, I was just listening to what could have been. I think the other day, and I was just thinking about like, man, people will really sit here and convince themselves that they're doing something right. Like when they send me that message about washing clothes, like in their mind, they really think they're doing me a favor. It is so surreal. I said I would feel the favor if they actually were doing something I need. Hey, oh, you're hungry? Just pathetic, man. You mean yourself and everyone else? I don't think there's anything more mean than letting somebody be homeless, but whatever. Mm. And of course, they will never apologize for that. They will never acknowledge they were wrong, ever. Never, 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 never. Oh, it's just so sad, dude. I'm and of course my favorite part is that they have two minds about it. First, they try to like say that, oh, you chose to be homeless, whatever the hell that means. Oh, I actually, so that's the one with that one. That is the one who I last attempted to contact in August about the phone being off. And the psychopath didn't respond to me. And then they were trying to hit up one of my other relatives for some money about a week ago, and like I didn't talk to them, but I heard them on the phone with them, and I was just rolling my eyes. Like I said, man, the only thing some of these people care, and I guess in a capitalist society, we're all incentivized to care about money to a great deal or not, a great degree or whatever, but it's gotten to a point of just almost grotesque proportions. Like imagine if, look, I don't know if you have any uncles or aunts, but like imagine if your uncle or aunt just passed away and it was one that you weren't really that close to, you didn't really have much to deal with, to talk with about, just you and them weren't involved with each other to any real degree, right? And in spite of this person's death, in spite of the fact that you weren't really, an active participant in their life, you come out and try to see if you can stretch your hand out to get, some money in place. There's something for you, right? Like it's really nasty, man. Serious, with some people, the only thing they care about is money. They care more about money than their own damn children. It is so sad. Some people will have a whole damn house full of clothes and shoes and then not be able to put one meal in their own child's stomach for an entire year or even longer than that. It is disgusting. I tell you, back in February when that tire exploded on me when I was on the freeway, and I'd never had anything like that happen before, and I thought for a moment that I might be in like some great peril. I thought about those same three relatives, and I said, I looked up in the sky, I said, you know what? You want to take me, whatever. I don't even care anymore. I'm dead serious. Like I just these people make me ashamed to be related to them. And even though they're all up to their own like different crooked stuff, there's always some aspect of it that just grosses me out. It's just something I've noticed for a while now, but from what I've seen, it seems that it's a problem mainly occurring in black families. Well, we talked about the racial dynamics of this stuff a while back and how one of the things I've always liked about many other ethnic groups is the sense of unity. Like you don't really see how what's a good way of putting this? So like I mixed signals queen is a piece of crap. Okay. Like that's obvious. The way she treated me was horrible, whatever. But somebody like that who has no accountability for what they do, no responsibility to their job, which is why she kept coming late over and over to where she got herself, fired. They don't see a job as getting fired from one or not being having one as the end of the world because they have either mommy or daddy or possibly both parents to do things for them. If their car is screwed up, right, they can get them another car. Even if they don't have a license, they can still find a way to like get to work. As evidenced by the fact that when she didn't have a car, she was still getting picked up by somebody. And many times, just as I on my street, there's a family of I think they have 5 cars, and this house is not that big. It's about the same size as what I'm in, if not even smaller. And they have the main group that's like in the front of the place, and then they have the group that lives in the garage, and they're all paying rent apparently, or at least all giving it to they're all like you get the idea. They're all like combining their resources to where it's not really draining anyone by any great degree, and that's what's so sad about you know a lot of these black families where it's just it's just every man for himself. Oh, I have a son, I have a daughter, and you think I'm going to help them with basic things they need to survive? You're right. Mm. I mean, hey, you saw a molecule split a road. Nobody owes you gas money, but you definitely owe this one relative 300 a month just to stay with them in a little crappy one little tiny room where you don't it's not even fully yours. Well, I told you that what's so disturbing to me about it is that they're full of crap. The same person who would deny their own so like here, I'll give you this example. If I have a mother and a father who pay for where I live, even if I move out, right? I can still come back to them, and I do come back to them when I'm 30, when I'm 40, uh, and there's no issue. There's no complaint. There's no, oh, you're this age, you can't, live here. Do you see where it is hypocritical for me to then look at my own children, son, daughter, whatever, and be like, oh, you thought I was going to help you? No, like just it's that's my biggest issue with it, that they are not consistent with their own lives. Um, if you I'm not kidding you when you look at the parents of some of these people and then you look at them in contrast, it is a tale of night and day difference. You wouldn't even think they were the offspring of the people that are there for them. It's really sad. Well, dude, like it's insane, but it's also so again. There's this idea that when people do something wrong, it and they have children, right? It will like stretch back to the kids. But if you look at the way some of these parents are, and you actually met their parents, they're total opposites. You have an old lady who, if you go to see her, she'll ask you if you want something to drink, give you a soda, give you a water, maybe even some food, depending on if she has any there or not. This is not a wealthy person. This is not a rich person. This is also not someone that you have to ask anything for to just get the basic like, hey, do you want this? Do you want that? But then if you go to her daughter, that person will stick their hand out like this. They'll tell you, oh, you're running this errand for me. Oh, well, and it's like 30 miles. Well, just do it for me. I'm not kidding, man. One day, if I ever go into detail about, do you want to have a place to live when you come back? That one, right? And just how different they are from their own parents. It is night and day, man. It infuriates me that sweet, beautiful contributors to the betterment of society, like those two, had to pass away while a worthless, garbage, disgusting, vile piece of crap like their mistake of a child gets to just roam around and do all their evil acts. If you could see the way that some people are, um, I mean, like to paint this contrast, you have a lady who, when she loses her only sister back in 2010, she doesn't try to get any money out of it. She is hurt by the loss of a relative, a close relative, or at least someone that, in terms of like lineage you're close with. Maybe you're not that close to, but still, you're not happy at this. And they handle it on their own, mainly keep it to themselves. But the point is that they don't try to get anything out of it. It's not a benefit to them. Their child, from the second they think they can get an extra cent off of this corpse, like a vulture just descends trying to squeeze out the last damn pennies from this person's existence, because to them you are only beneficial if they think they can make some money off of you. That's it. They can make some money off of you either from you living with them and then trying to squeeze some coins out, or um, your death and what they can get out of that. I'm serious. It just makes me sick. It really does. Yeah, but it's like, how does the actual sibling not try to do that, but then the child, like, they weren't even close. Like, I insist to you, I have never out of any of the 3 deaths that have caused me to be as just sick of living as I have become, there's not been one where I was like, "Oh, man, can I get any money off of this? Does this person have me on their thing or whatever?" It's not me. I have always been satisfied with the sum of money that allows me to just do what I want to do. So, like, if it's 100,000, if it's 200,000, I don't really like. There is a clear like line at which I'm satisfied. I don't just sit there and go, "Oh man, can I get this much or that much or this much or that much?" Like, I could live in an apartment building for the rest of my life, and as long as I had the option to get a, let's say, a new computer or fly to another state, whenever I wanted, right? I would be fine. Most people are overcome with greed to a crazy amount. Yeah, I mean, listen, that's bad, but it's like, and that's why I said I want you to really think about this. If you were a parent and you had a son or a daughter that was afraid they were going to run out of money, that was afraid that they were not going to be able to eat or have a place to stay, and you're alive, right? You're alive, you supposedly work, you have a house full of shoes and clothes and apparently even multiple cars. Like, you don't think that there's something wrong with that? Like, whether your son or daughter is an adult or not, like, you guys aren't living in some third world country where you had to sell your mom for some garlic bread. We're talking about you mostly being either affluent or afloat enough to meet your own needs, and in many cases to get yourself whatever like stuff you want that you don't need, but you won't extend that same desire to uh, use your resources to help your own child. You don't see where there's really something warped and something screwed up about like just the fact that that's a thing. I'm just asking. I really want to know. You have the resources to better the life of your offspring, and it doesn't occur to you to actually do anything to assist them. Helping your child should be a very high priority. It should be, but when people, when they want to have excuses to not do anything, you'd be surprised. No, it's just it is regardless of their age, it shouldn't matter. I tell you that I can be sympathetic to the idea of some downtrodden young parent who's like, "Oh man, they're really struggling." But when you get to a certain age, and when I say this, I'm not talking about the kid, I'm talking about the parent, and you are still insistent on not being involved or not having that much to do with your offspring, or finding a way to just do as little as possible, it just shows you that these people never grow up. They never. It's ironic. They always talk about their kid needs to grow up, don't depend on him. It's like, you don't, but you don't do anything where anybody would depend on you, period. And that's why I couldn't take that comment from that dingbat, because so it's like this. With the woman thing, I've got a thick enough skin to where I just expect people to try to insult me over some dumb broad that they've probably never even met. Like, that's just a foregone conclusion, and it's always mostly going to be other men. But dude, when I did everything started crumbling, leaving that, the whole point of the video is that it's just a series of things all swirling together, right? You got this coworker that you try to be friends with, and it blows up in your face, and she tries to get you fired. And then even as you're working this job, you're paying all this money to the bank, and you got this relative trying to squeeze something out of you too. And then you're still like dealing with all this different death, and how you just all of these things together. And this guy's response to all of that is get out there and blank win, and you think life is only hard on you? Yeah, it's a myriad of things all not working out together. They This is what happens when people don't practice nuance. They just they respond with slogans and buzzwords, but there's no effective strategy or actions employed. Get out there and win. What does that even mean? Yeah, but they probably don't even experience half of the amount of bad things similar expressed in the video. Oh no, I mean, you remember that stream I did, the empathy eclipse, where you had that guy come on there talking about go be a dentist and you can make 4,000 a month or some other crap. And besides the fact that he won't acknowledge, okay, who's going to pay for rent each month as you're spending all these hours at this school for this stupid piece of paper? He concludes it by mentioning that he lives with his parents. It's like I'm glad you're honest in that respect, but at the same time, don't sit here and act like you have the magic solution when the whole point of this is that a lot of us don't have parents to rely on. We can't go and sit on mommy and daddy's couch just because we feel like it. There is no empathy or even attempt to try and have nuance when they say these platitudes. And man, it's so crazy to think about all the times I was told you don't have a job because you don't have enough experience, right? And then you're applying for places where a lot of the people that work at these places have never worked anywhere else before. You don't have a job because your hair, you don't have a job because your resume, you don't have a job because blah 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 blah, right? And now they can't say that anymore, right? Because I've been with this place for a year now almost. So when you say, "Hey, look, I've been here for a year, but they're cutting my hours, they're barely giving me any hours, or whatever the issue is, or whatever they're giving me isn't enough to pay for all this different crap I'm having to pay for," they don't care. They just tell you get over it. Oh well, suck it up. That line is enough to just dismiss that goofy character entirely. And man, I'm telling you, some of these people just like I'm not kidding. Every time I do a video where I vent about something, there is always some weird guy that you've never seen before that just like manifest out of the damn sky or clouds to tell you, "Oh, excuse me, but you actually are incorrect about this. I'm not going to actually respond to anything you're saying, damn near, but I'm going to say in some vague sense that you are wrong." Yeah, it's like just go away. And they've been doing this for, and again, they mostly do it on stuff that's just about chicks. But the thing about everything started crumbling is it was like everything, just literally, just crap. So to have somebody go on there and be like, "Well, there's also something wrong with you, even though you're the only one who's actually trying to make things better." Yeah. Weird men and their fake success indeed. Molecule splitter. I think he split his head on, and that's why he can't write anything that actually makes any sense. I never thought I'd see the day that somebody would simp for like crappy relatives. That's a new one. Like if people want to come on here and defend and praise, random chicks and all hell the mighty triangle, okay, fine, whatever. But that really scares me that like you hate some random man that you've never met before. Apparently, you don't even like watch the content of, and you can just justify any old crappy thing that happens to him. Because I was think like when that thing happened, during the whole period where I was paying all the money every month, I said it doesn't make any sense to me that somebody is going to sit here and work every single possible time they can, right? And at the end of the month, have barely any money. Like I started the year with a bank account that had like I think it was like 3,000 in there, and then by April or May it was like 500. I was like, what the? But again, that's not something that is supposed to happen. That's not normal. To have every cent of your money going to things that you don't see a benefit from, and then have this relative who's like LARPing as though they care about you, when in fact they couldn't give a damn about you, which is why they were fine with you being homeless last year, when you couldn't pay their half a thousand while unemployed, ransom. And I said, there's that doesn't make any sense. All of this is backwards. All of it's upside down. Again, I just get so sick of the fake stuff. The attempts at pretending they're concerned with how I'm doing or if I'm all right. They don't give a damn. I remember the first time I looked in that account and saw it get that low, and I was like, that's insane. And that's what caused me to just flee at the end of June. I said, what the hell am I paying 300 a month to this person for? Why am I doing that? I don't feel safe with them. I'm not kidding. Like, there's literally nothing to gain from living with them. There's nothing. They don't help you with food or gas or just literally anything. All they do is just stick their hand out trying to squeeze money out of you. But they're gonna sit up here with their dumb message about clean clothes. Get out of my face. It's like, man, maybe if you actually helped this person with things they need, they would take you more seriously if you got caught up in the minutia of clothing. And that's what is so despicable to me. Like, they say that stuff as though they're concerned, but they're not. Yeah, it is feigning concern. One person said, "I care about you in ways that are like they well, they're saying this from the perspective of these relatives. I care about you in ways that are convenient to me," and that's exactly what happened. They will, anything that they feel as if it can benefit them without having to actually pay for something is what they're going to do. That's all it is, feigning concern. All that crap about haircuts and all the other garbage. Literally every last bit of it was a lie and a scam. These people don't give a damn. That's why every time you need something, they pull out the Hoover flag. Hey, you need some money to go to your job that we complained you didn't have before? Hey, you need some money to be able to have food, otherwise you're going to die. Hey, you need some money to fix something on your car, otherwise you can't go to that job. That is the only way you can get any more money because we want to assist you with anything that you need to survive. It's all they know how to do. I'm not kidding. Sometimes I just want to like, because I know where all these people, live. I just want to like drive over there and just observe them. Because I don't know how you can just do the stuff that they've done. It disgusts me. Where's that damn thing? Oh, but yeah, this is a really backwards society. I'm serious. I look at some of the people that are alive, and no one is benefited by their existence. They are just entirely out for themselves. Even the people that they should do something to assist, they just couldn't bother with. It is real funny to think about the job thing, right? Like, you are so lazy. You are so lazy. I'm over here complaining my job won't give me more hours, but I'm so lazy. Very lazy. Super duper lazy. Wholefully lazy. Entirely lazy. I said we're at a point now where words just don't mean anything. They just say whatever. Like, just, I'm mad at you, so you are this thing. Oh man. Ugh. Ugh. It's just interesting how meaningless a lot of stuff is, you know? Like, what's the point of having a job if you can't take care of yourself? What's the point of having like, of being a parent if you're not gonna have a relationship with your own child, if you're not gonna be there for them? I just think it's so interesting just how so much of it is just devoid of, any reason. Like I said, man, if I had the job I have now, you know, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 7 years ago, it would have been very, helpful, right? Because at the time, I didn't have any consistent income. At the time, I had someone that, um, was there for me. That like, when I tell you, when I got fired from that retailer, I wasn't, like, shaking and sweating because I knew that I had, someone that was there to assist me with basic utilities like food, um, and wasn't, like, trying to extract something from me every damn month. But this whole, like, this lack of concern, this lack of humanity, this lack of compassion, it's just it is getting to a point of absurdity, and I just can't tolerate it anymore. That's why when every time they've been asking me, "Can you stay longer?" I really do feel like if I'm always going to be this disposable piece of crap that they can just delete off the schedule, deny a few $100s every week, then yeah, what's the point of even like assisting them in that way? If we're gonna have this uh involuntarily parasitic, antagonistic relationship, then let's yeah, I'm not gonna help you out. The hell with you. Yeah, just go to hell. It's the same thing with a lot of these, relatives too. Like they come on here, well, not on here, but just like, they come around, they start talking trash. It's been more one so than the others 'cause I don't talk to the other ones. In the case of one of them at all, and the other one just barely, or I haven't spoken to in months. And it's like, why would anyone give a damn what they think? They're not doing anything to remotely make their opinion worth caring about. Oh man. Yeah, I'm trying to find this thing still. And I can't even close this tab because I won't be able to see what you're writing. Yeah, get Amazon asking me, you wanna buy some more traps?" Like, "No, we're gonna see if the first 8 work." It's so sad how, like, we only get to live one time as far as we know. I'm not really a proponent of the, idea of resurrections and whatnot, but we only get to live one time, and some of us are really going to just have a singular existence where all we do is work some job and treat the people around us like crap, like, it's just sad. It's sad for the people that know them, it's sad for just society that is your sum total contribution. That's what is so scary. Yeah, I mean, if you're like, why bother living if you don't do anything that's actually worth a piss? Like, not everybody needs to be a celebrity, but I'd like to think that if I only got to live once and was just a decent um, individual that helped people and actually benefited those that were, coming up or whatever, at least that would be something worth existing for. And we need to just watch it unfold. Yeah, because unfortunately, there's no way to really get people for doing this horrible stuff. They have us just sitting here and bearing witness to all the horrendous things going on. Oh man, so much death, so much just it's all just so lousy, man. It is funny to watch a lot of people on this site, and even with that guy, you're so negative. It's like, yeah, people are really showing their worst side in every facet now. To watch someone convince themselves that they're and I was that's why when I was telling you about the video that had the 400,000 views on it about that one content creator that's like really nasty and just a terrible person in my view. Um the reason I brought that up is because a lot of these people feel like they can do the things they do because there's no consequence. Like when a celebrity does something that's bad, it'll get reported in the news. It'll get, people will talk about it. But like with a lot of these unknown, uh, silent jerks, their screwed up things are not. They feel a lot more comfortable doing it because there's not like a public just like shaming of them. Like if I go and cheat on my wife with another woman, you're not going to see people unless it were some like big content creator woman, or if I was a big content creator, then you're not going to really see people talk about it. If I decide to have a child and I abandon it for however many years, let it sit there and starve out while I'm over here buying myself shoes and clothes and flying to other countries and got myself a new car. No one's going to know I'm such a disgusting piece of garbage unless, you know, the child happens to be a celebrity or some person of influence, and then they reveal like, yeah, my dad just didn't bother with me, just left me to rot. And speaking of long distance relationships, so that guy or that person, whatever, they have, I guess, a spouse. They got married through the computer somehow. And man, I always think when people get married, like, oh, they're serious, right? This is real commitment. Man, they don't even live in the same country. I said, you would never in a million years see me be like, I am putting a ring on this woman's finger who lives in India or Canada or the UK or Grenada. Like, hey, look at my wife that is in an entire different region from me. Yeah, we are partners. And wait a second, let me see. Hold on. Let me go to their what's that thing called? Uh where is that thing? Oh damn, did I gotta type their name in manually. I think they have a different handle than the one I thought they had. Yes, they got married on like through the internet. So them and their wife don't live in the same country. They had a virtual marriage. In the words of the wife, it's more about us just being married. Ah, there they are. So like again, I told you that it's really frustrating for me to watch people just sit here and have the resources to do stuff and then pretend that they're so like again, this is not some person who's just working some 9 to 5 job and they're paying rent and all this other crap. They get a disability check from what I've heard, and their channel again has over 100,000 subscribers. They average a total of several thousands of views per day, um, which is which has got to be anywhere from that could be $3 a day at a minimum. That could be $10. And you might say, "Oh, that's nothing," right? But they're also getting Patreon support. I don't know how many patrons they have, but it's at least a dozen or so. So I'm conveying to you is like they easily could import their wife from whatever country that she's in and have her live with them, but they don't care. It's all like more just general nonsense. The people who have the power to do things coincidentally seem to always find a way to not do it. If you've noticed that trend yet, the people who have the ability to improve stuff for themselves and for someone else, someone they claim to love, that doesn't make a lick of sense. Dude, if I had 100, like, let me say this to you. If you swapped my channel with theirs in terms of like me having 100,000 plus subs and then all the Patreon support and my job on top of that, we'd be like this. Because I don't get anything really besides basic utilities. But the amount of money they're getting a month, it's gotta be at a minimum several thousands just from YouTube alone, not even counting the check they get from their government or whatever. So what I'm saying to you is it's really aggravating watching people, again, they have the resources to do stuff and they won't bite. I'm going to get married to some woman from another country, but then not use all the money I'm making every month to bring her over to where I am so we can actually be together. I saw what that girl lives in. It is not pleasurable. I don't feel too bad for her because she's dating someone that is really disgusting and honestly one of the worst people I've ever seen on this site. In terms of like people with a big following, like they're pretty high up there in my despicable gallery. This stuff just gets way too goofy. Well, like I said, you're not dealing with so the problem with social media, just the internet, this whole like era, is that it has allowed people to basically act nuts and be legitimized for it. 10 years ago, before Discord was a thing, I didn't join calls with people who came in there to call me the N word and then, play bird noises and all the rest of that stuff. I was on Skype. Somebody wanted to talk to me, I had to talk to them. Dialogue would normally be okay at best. Uh, Something we didn't do again at worst. We talked about early YouTube with the 5-star system, being able to write stuff on people's channels. If you remember that, you go on the channel, leave a comment. Hey, I like your videos, or you DM you private message someone. What you are seeing is there's just a lot of people that live online. They live on the internet. Their whole belief system is just I am computer god. I can treat people this way because I'm hiding behind a screen. And sometimes they're like this too in real life, right? My favorite coworker and her whole staring at the phone while talking to me and give me your number. Here's my number, but you can't call me, and I barely respond in text. So we basically can only speak when we're at the job where I only want to talk to you because I'm bored and you're like one of the more entertaining people. It's all just crap, just crap. But again, it's goofy because they want it to be this way. They want to interact with people in these insulated spaces where they're not up to be critiqued and they can do weird stuff and mostly not have any kind of consequence for it. The hell do I look like having a wife that lives in another country? Oh, let me turn this thing off. Oh. Hey, honey, I'm home. Can't wait to see you on Skype, or well, I don't use Skype anymore, on Discord. It's our anniversary. How could you forget? Our chat logs have the date and everything. Today is the first day I sent you a DM. Dude, you know long distance relationships are dumb when people are like they're having e-marriages. You know it's bad when like you'll see people get married on the damn computer before they'll get married to someone they know in real life, like to a physical person in front of them. Oh my god, it's so lousy. Like I don't like how what is man, imagine what I would look like if because you know they always try to make fun of me for something, right? And they seem to be completely content. Yeah. That like dude, that woman draws for them and like um still sits in these damn on these streams and these calls and doesn't seem bothered by it. It's so weird. But I said, man, imagine what I would look like if I'm like, I do a video. I'm married now and I have like the ring, and then my new wife or girlfriend, whatever, like appears and like instead of her like walking through the door, it's a split screen where like once I'm like, I have big news, I'm married, and then like the screen cuts in half and she's like, yeah, and I live in Nova Scotia. Or if she's in the UK, I'm 500 miles away from Buckingham Palace. So stupid. Where the hell did the Kotsky merchant come from? I must be dreaming. I haven't seen him in so long. Is that the real Akatsuki merch? Let me see. Go to channel. I don't believe that's the real Akatsuki merch. I think that's some doppelganger. Okay, Megumi, you have permission to ban that fake account of Akatsuki merch, and I think that's some doppelganger. Somebody's posing as him. The real Akatsuki merchant isn't even up this early. He's over there eating Wingstop in the afternoon. So if you want to get rid of him, go ahead. You have my permission. I won't shed any tears. We know you're not the real Akatsuki merchant. You're not fooling anybody. Nice try, though. You think just because you have a wrench, we're going to be deluded into thinking you're the real him? No, there was this one stream. I think I mentioned before. There was like a guy who was playing Smash Brothers with his girlfriend, and he's like supposed to be a professional gamer, and she beat him, and he got so mad he told the moderators to ban everybody. Just imagine like they go through like clicking each name, put user in timeout or hide user or whatever. Yeah, you're not fooling anybody. I can't wait to be married to a woman that lives in a whole other region. I'm very excited. I can't wait. Sign me up. But why? What did the chat do to him? They were laughing. That ego got crushed. Well, yeah, because it's like if you're a it would be like if what's a good example? Um, let me think of something. It would be like if I called myself a professional streamer and I like my little brother starts streaming and he has more people watching than me. It's the same thing where like the person who's supposed to be the big expert at it loses to the person who doesn't even like do this normally or regularly or like at all, right? So they just uh they just can't take it. Mods, ban everybody. Imagine presenting this concept to people before the age of the internet, they think you're insane. Oh man. I'm trying to figure out when did Megumi show up? It was before the hour 30 mark. Probably when you're watching these back when it's live, you don't get to actually see like how like what minute it was in. It just tells you like in a subtracted sense. Mm. Yeah, I didn't think I'd live to see the day where there were internet marriages, but I can see I was wrong. Ah, there it is. I think I found it. Ugh. But now that insanity is just the norm, our technology advancing, but we aren't evolving with it, and it shows. Well, I mean, what is the point of these devices if they just make us act more primitive? Like, back in the day, people used to read books, and now you have movie reviewers that will criticize the writing. Like, think of how insane this is. They will criticize the writing of films, and they don't even read. Do you understand? Like, okay, if someone like Roger Ebert or whatever, he would talk about cinematography, the acting, etc. Because there's a lot of like components that make a movie good or bad. Could you imagine criticizing films primarily for their writing and then you don't even read? You literally don't even read, and you're like, "Oh yeah, the writing of this movie isn't that good." It's like, uh, you're the last one to be speaking. You clearly you're not attracted to good writing because if you were, you'd be reading some good books. Let me see here. Okay, yeah, I think we're good. Um, I still don't think this is the real Akatsuki merchant. Yeah, they'll criticize a film they haven't even watched, and unfortunately, the internet gives voices to most obnoxious and stupid people. Well, the way this works is that there will be some new movie announced, and they'll make like 15 or 20 videos about it before the movie even comes out. This actor said this. This early test screening wasn't good. It's just like, man, let the damn thing come out. But again, their entire like online ability to even monetize themselves is based off of off of like critiquing stuff that it hasn't even been released. I'm not saying this is bad, but people are saying this is bad. Oh, don't get me started with them. Did they lose subscribers off of this? I think they did. It says there. Yeah, Megumi. So according to Social Blade, they make anywhere from 30 to $400 a month off of just like ad revenue. And then again, the rest of it is balanced out by the Patreon they have, and then their check they get from the government, their disability check, so they can sit at their house and just play video games all day and stream and threaten to show themselves in provocative and in many cases against TOS ways on this very site. That's another little slick thing they do on here. They do streams and they like show something that you're not supposed to show, like they break the rules, and then because they're not like a large content creator, they can do that and then delete the stream before YouTube can go and like manually review and be like, this is not a thing you can do. They do that. Like they think they're slick. It's like, ooh, look at how smart I am as I break the guidelines of this site and wait until a week, was it a few hours pass before I try to, they're just, the egos on these bastards, man. It's nuts. I really hate that word. Dude, I'm not even kidding. I'm so happy that Dragon Ball didn't come out in 2020 or whatever, because if 18 had broken Vegeta's arm, like in the modern era, they would have been calling. You would have seen that panel on like 50 different videos. Has Dragon Ball gone woke? In chapter, what chapter was that? I don't remember the number, but it's got to be like 500. Wait, let me think about it. Okay, yeah, because Dragon Ball together is like 500, so it's got to be like probably 300 something, right? Like around that number. Imagine like in Dragon Ball chapter 305, new scans. It shows that Vegeta engages Android 18 in a battle, and this newly introduced character is able to defeat the legendary Super Saiyan form that's been hyped up by Toriyama for the last 2 years. I guess she'll soon be defeating Goku in Combat 2, huh? No, we know they would have done that because you see, look at all the mess they made about killing Khalifa. Like, and dude, I remember the old days of the Dragon Ball like internet guys. How come Pan didn't go Super Saiyan? How come Pan didn't go Super Saiyan? And then they finally get a woman that goes Super Saiyan, and they're all like losing their minds and talking about Mary Sue's and all the rest. I'm just like, man, come on. Thank God Dragon Ball didn't come out in the modern era. It would have all been over. I'm not sure if you know yet, but even the new Sonic shot has already been called that due to the changes made in the censorship. I actually did not know. I just knew there was a new game. Well, I shouldn't even say a new game, a revised version of an old game coming out. These new age fans would have absolutely lost their collective minds. Female characters in their minds aren't allowed to be stronger than male characters. Oh no. The only one they give a little bit of a pass to is Wonder Woman. And that's because she's been around so damn long that it would be almost impossible to even try to say that she's, some new modern feminist invention. Also, Akatsuki merchant, I was going to ask if you could stay longer. We're going to probably end up cutting your hours if you stay longer, but can you please help us tonight, and then we'll see if we want to punish you tomorrow. And remember, in the 2020s, you're going to see women at their. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. In the 2020s, you're going to see women at their best. Damn, it's crazy. In like the last 4 years, you've had, let's see, a woman reject me after asking me on a date. Um, a woman sit up in a several hours long voice call with me saying all types of nasty stuff about whatever, and then not following through on any of it. Plant being weird after. A woman who, in spite of the fact that she has a boyfriend, asked if I could moan for her and said, if I heard your voice more, I would want more. A woman who, without seeing what I look like, said she wanted to date me. And then, even though she's aware that I'm not interested in some foreign broad who doesn't want children, is like, yeah, I'm going to make a pass at him. Like they just, hey, let's not forget the woman who agrees to go see a movie with me that stands me up at the last minute. The prediction still is true, and in the fact, literally, and the worst part is we're not even halfway done. We still have all of 2025 and then 26, 27, 28, 29. Oh my God. This decade isn't even halfway through and it's already just tested my patience. Like I don't even ask women out anymore. That's how bad it is. Haven't asked one out in over 1,000 days. You think I'm kidding? I see so many of them that like I think look pretty or nice. So I'm just like, okay, yeah, whatever. Carry on. It's gotten so bad. Like there's been and this we were going over this on Saturday. There's been such a big drought of me even like making any attempts at any stuff with chicks. Now I'm the one turning them down. Oh, I like you. I'm good. Oh, I like you. Yeah, no, thanks. I'm serious. I would sit up in those calls with stale pointed disinterest girl, and literally, I have proof. She said she was attracted to me and didn't even know what I looked like, which is already the first sign of like And then the other one, um, I mean, I already told you what she did. Unfriend somebody, and then when you get confronted, you're like, I have a partner, and I'm afraid that if I hear you more, I would want. Oh my god. I'm not kidding. I have not made a romantic gesture towards any of these bastards in the last 3 years and counting. It's all one sided on their part now. Even with the one that was saying she thought I was her ex-boyfriend, I can show you where like I stopped responding to her because it was just too stupid before she made the allegation, and then she was still trying to like send me a message. I don't do VCs with people that aren't my partner or my. I was like, okay, goodbye. And then you see the ding notification, and it was funny because like she saw I was online and just wouldn't even bother responding. Yeah, this is stupid. Yeah, I'm out. Oh man, don't worry. We're getting closer and closer to completing the Zero Women Plan, the ZWP. Because that one that likes to draw, haven't responded to her in a few days. I'm not going to respond. Um, they're they're just getting further and further out of here. They're on their last legs. I'm serious. I've gotten to a point where like I see them and I feel nothing. There's no incentive. It's just, oh, look at this nice thing I that is just here, like whatever. Dude, even the one that said, "Oh, you're hurt because a blank rejected you." Guess what happened to her a week? What was it? A few days ago. By her own logic, she got rejected. I stopped responding to her DMs. Um, I declined her invitation to join a call. I'm like, nope, no, 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 no. I have two PhDs, one in BS and one in lies, and she had both radars just going off, and I was like, no, you've endured too much nonsense already from them, and there is no incentive to even attempt anything. Literally, like I will sit in like a group call with them, and I won't even say anything if they say something to me. Um, Sometimes I've had like the last one that sent me a friend request and I accepted it was the one that sat there and did that. You remember that call where it was like an hour and a half, and then you know, literally like by the end of it, she's like, "I don't want to do this again." And then after saying she would contact me later, blocked me. I saw her online. I didn't bother saying anything. Like for what? She's just another cog in the machine, another dingbat from Australia. I don't even try to contact my ex fiance from over there, let alone some some Discord dingbat. I'm serious. Like there just was a woman overload. Like it's always the same. They're like, dude. I'm not even kidding. They're like a real life version of Team Rocket, where it's like instead of them always trying to catch Ash's Pikachu, they're always trying to convince me they like me, and like because it has proven to just be you know nonsense so many times. As they're reciting their motto, I just have them like send them blasting off again. Dude, you're trying to get one of them to like actually not be a self-destructive lying piece of crap is the again is like the equivalent of Team Rocket trying to steal Ash's Pikachu. Like it just doesn't work. They come out with like two chicks, right? They come out, prepare for trouble, make it double, and then you just like, no, no, don't. I don't even listen to the song. I just put my headphones and just walk away. It's all just this big cartoon. Like this is really just I don't even know what to say anymore. They have destroyed any hopes I had for them. They are a complete dry well of any there's no goodwill left anymore. Like I may not be able to get abroad to do the stuff I want to, but I'm sure as hell able to decide if I want to talk to them or not. And I don't. I still want to do a video on like on those two because I just they're it's crazy. We really have entered the era where things are so backwards that when they reciprocate now, I don't even care anymore. It's nothing. It's just another joke. Dude, literally that thing where that girl asked me on a date 3 years ago just broke me because I was like, even when one of them sticks their hand out, it still is nothing. You say, yeah, because it isn't. It's not. Dude, imagine how infuriating it would be. I don't know what part of the UK you're in, right? But let's say there's some woman who is in driving distance of you in the UK, and she's like, "Oh, Megumi, will you go on a date with me?" And you're like, "Oh yeah, sure, yeah." You jump at the chance. Let's do this. And then she's like, "Well, I kind of want to get to know you first. Can you meet my parents? And maybe we can talk for a while." And you're like, "Whoa! You said we would go on a date. What's with all these extra adjectives and different subplots? Like, where did this? What is this?" I think you would be pissed off because you'd be like, "Well, you told me you wanted something, which I wanted as well, and then you blew it up before." Like, literally, I'm not kidding. These chicks knock you down before you can even begin to stand up. I'm not playing. You don't even get the chance to go on the thing that she said she wanted to do with you before she starts reneging and you know flipping and switching. Like, it's dumb. It'd be different if they were meant it and were serious. Then you wouldn't have been so disillusioned with all this. Yeah, well, that's uh that's what happens when you just keep getting the same result over and over. And it's not even just the same result. It is the same result with different leading scenarios. The self-destruct sequence kicks in. It's funny now to go look at the Discord women video. Poems are something that are intimate and all that crap. What you wrote to me was highly inappropriate when you know I am in a relationship. And then here we are 3 months later. How come you won't join the VC I'm in? You wrote something that you were lying, and I want to speak to you like an adult. Like, no, 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 no. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Where's my hold on. Hold on. I gotta do it. Hey, person that I was very nasty to in June and blocked and tried to make fun of for writing a poem to me. Do you now want to speak to me again after I have unblocked you for the third or fourth time in a call where I'm going to have my two sidekicks giggling like school children while we speak to each other? No, 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 no. The girl, hey, guy that lives in another country who I don't want to do the future goals of like having kids with. Do you want to become a couple with me where we can't touch each other because we live so damn far away from each other? No, 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 no. I'm telling you, I really, The one thing I did not predict was that I would live to see the day where I would just turn down multiple chicks per year. That's crazy. I would get so sick of them that even when they're like, "Hey, I kind of like you," this way. Well, you better like me to keep. You better keep that like to yourself because that's as far as it's getting. Remember what I said? Where's the? You know what? Hold on. Do I have that damn paper? No, I don't. I was gonna try to make a visual gag, but it won't work. Oh wait, here's one. I guess Akatsuki merchant left again. Very unfortunate. How come you won't reciprocate the few chicks that are now showing interest in you? Well, they live far away. They've shown in the past to not be serious, even when they say these types of things. I'm just not interested in what they have to offer slash are refusing to offer. So in essence, they're a day late and a dollar short. Oh my god. They had their chance years ago and they blew it. Dude, this computer stuff, like with relationships, is so like I'm really getting closer and closer to pulling the lever on making that long distance relationships are dumb video. I don't care who gets mad, who gets offended. It's the truth. Because like, look at that. Look at the content creator. This person makes all this money every month, and he can't get. They can't get their wife to move to the country that they're in. Are you serious? What a joke. Yeah, you want to talk about stuff being upside down and doesn't get any more upside down than that. It really is a joke, and it makes you think: Are they really for real? They are for real about being married. That is something that they did do. That has been proven. It's really just a matter of. And by the way, don't you just? I'm going to say this to you again. Don't you just love how you dated a woman who you took the last name of, and then even though you guys did not get married, you kept her last name, and now your new woman, your actual wife has taken that same last name as well. So like you took like think of how insane that is. Um I'm gonna have a partner who I'm not gonna marry. I'm gonna take their last name. Then my actual partner that I marry is gonna take my last name, which originally belonged to my ex girlfriend who I was never married to. Seeing the three of them with that last name it's wild. Like he basically traded in his old girlfriend for a damn clone of her, where they have like the same last name. They both like to draw. It's so weird. I tend to feel these people get off on things that are just weird and messed up. I mean, yeah, The one sitting over there talking about I like you and all the rest of that, she admitted she had affluent parents that would do stuff for her, so she could have come to see me if she wanted to, but instead, I have to I have to squeeze some pennies together to get on a plane over the man. I said the hell with that. I'm starting to think a lot of these people are actually AI bots, and this whole thing going on with you is some weird social experiment. No, those chicks are not AIs. I saw what both of them looked like. I saw the one who said the stale point of this interesting. I saw her on camera multiple times. Her and her what she called her chunky self, and then the other one, she's weird, like even weirder. So she sent me a picture of what she said was her sister, and then when I wouldn't comment on it, she was like, "Oh, that was actually me." And then she sent me a picture of her actual sister. Talk about you should talk to her. I think she's your type. I was like, no, no. Oh, hold on. You should talk to my sister. I think she's your type. No, 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 no. The hell am I gonna talk to your sister for so she can block me too? But no, these are real people. I'm serious. She sent me a picture. This is my sister. Do you think? Is it? I don't have. I have no opinion. Because if I say she's ugly, then she's gonna get mad at me. And if I say the sister's attractive, she's gonna try to say I'm trying to get. You know what I'm saying? Like you just either way, I felt screwed. So then she was like, "Oh, the picture was actually me." It's like, why did you say it was somebody else? She sent me a video of her and her boyfriend on the damn swing set. I was like, why? Like, why? Just weird, man. They sound too cartoonishly stupid to act. I mean, look, man, I deal in evidence. The reason I didn't do a video on her is because I don't know what I would call that. Woman tries to get me to have weird love triangle third wheel what do I call that? I have evidence of everything that happened with her. I have all the messages, all literally there's no segment of this that I can't prove was stated or said. So I don't know where you're getting this idea that I'm making this up. I wish I was. I already decided against saving the money to see this chick in the U.S. when her parents are well off and can easily fund for her trip to see. Yeah, that's lets you know she's full of crap. Like, look, man, I don't try to normally tell you what to do. Um, but this is my real opinion. If you would spend hundreds or thousands of dollars just to chase after some triangle, I feel bad for you. I really do. Because that you should know at this point, just like the rest of us do, that these chicks are not loyal, they're not trustworthy, it's not reciprocal, they're not reciprocal either. That's why they can sell on a bunch of money and have no interest in going to see you. I really feel bad for you if you actually do that. I'm not even like trying to insult you. I genuinely feel remorseful that that would even be something you would consider. It took me some time to come to that conclusion. It was hard, but I need to think practical about it. Yeah. I really I didn't make a video on her because I didn't know what it would be called. Foreign temptress tries to start love triangle. I just think the whole thing is funny. Funny, stupid, weird, crazy, all of it. I'm just wondering what would I call it? Bizarre Women Volume 1, or that would actually be a good title. I am now rejecting women. How the tables have turned, like just call it how the tables have turned or something. It's like, yeah, these women, they like to come up and say that they like me, but they're a day late and the dollar short. I've been alone too long to get excited by at the possible prospect of a triangle. It's not enough. I'm serious. I have no idea what I would title the video on the one from the UK. I really don't know what I would go. Oh damn, I forgot she was over there. Just had to remind myself. But I don't know what I would call the video. How the turntables have spun around to the exact same spot we're in. Well, it's just interesting being so disenfranchised with chicks that even if one of them is like, "Hey, let's do something together," I'm just like, "No, thank you. Just leave me alone." Too many lies. And it's like I'm very sincere when I tell you I do not want to date a woman from another country. I do not. I really would rather just be alone than have to do that. So like I said, what they're offering is just not enough. They can get mad all they want. It's the truth. Oh, Megumi, you have anything you want to add before we wrap this up? Because now the sun's coming up, and I would like to resume sleeping. Man, I remember when I would do these streams over at my old place, I would go and get some coffee from Starbucks, and I would just keep thinking of how crazy it was that like $10 for a cup, and I think it was like a little ice cake or whatever. You do this once a week, and it still feels like it's over zealous of you. Like I said, the lack of support just really drives me insane. It's all really disgusting. Mm. You should respect me. Yeah, maybe I'll respect you when you actually care if I'm alive or dead. How about that?
You're so rude.
I wonder why. I think Megumi might have left. Well, I guess he got tired of this stuff too. He retired. He threw in the towel. He said, "You know what? I'm sick of this." Oh man, it's going to be a really interesting trio of days. One side quest, technically three, but one big one, and then go back to work on Friday. And I if they ask me to stay longer on that shift, I will laugh because they have that lousy manager there. I'm like, no, 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 I don't like seeing you for 5 hours. I don't want to see you for 8 or 7, especially when those last 2 or 3, you're just gonna end up subtracting from me anyway. So, Akatsuki Merchant, you have anything you want to add before we wrap this up? Before I try to see if I can get some R&R. Mm. Any further comments, thoughts, theories, concerns? Serious, I don't know what that video would be called. That'd be funny if I started rejecting jobs like that. Like this one job on my resume just makes me so desirable, and I'm just like, no, no, thank you. Thanks for the stream was more longer than I thought it would be. Um, well, I mean, I do this twice a week. I try to, and especially now that I know I'm not going to go see that person, I wasn't in as much of a rush to wrap things up because that's what ends up happening a lot of times on Tuesday or Monday is I try to go see them in the early afternoon. So it's like I get that little 5 hour, 4 hour window to get some sleep and then head over to their place. It's too bad Akatsuki Merchant won't say anything anymore. But I'm glad it was actually him and not his AI or doppelganger as I initially thought it was. So not sure if you saw my comment about the let me see where it is. Um, let me see. Uh, when did you leave it? I don't see it. I'm looking at all the comments. Oh, you know how lousy this site can be. I mean, like I said, my live chat is dead. Like it's down. I can't. I couldn't. I have to like open a separate tab to be able to see it. Just a weird site, man. But yeah, I mean, whatever. It is what it is. Um. Okay, I got on live chat, so all comments are visible. Was it about the woman that you were thinking of going to see, who is in the U.S. and her parents could fund her to come see you, and that you decided not to go? Yeah. Well, it is what it is. This site is very glitchy, very malfunctioning. I wrote, I am certainly looking forward to upcoming, and of course, other videos too on those warp Discord. Oh, okay. No. Yeah, the site didn't let it go through, which is weird. I really don't like. I'm not kidding when I say I don't have a title for a video about that broad that did the whole moan for me thing. Like I don't know what you would call it. I that's one of the main reasons I didn't make a video on it because I was like, I don't. What do I? What would this even be? Given the title of just it was bizarre, all right. Uh, but no, the one I'd most likely do is the LDR video because never thought let's see that people could be married and not even live in the same region as each other. But here we are. Hmm. Well, thanks for showing up, Megumi, Akatsuki Merchant, and I will be back on Saturday with probably more developments on this never-ending saga of insanity from the world's crappiest relatives and the world's wackiest women. So, thanks for showing up, and see you.